Hello, my name is CarX82 and welcome back to my GregBlock series. I've put a little bit of time into getting resources and we're getting there, but there's a whole lot of crafting to be done for the assembly line. So far I've crafted this input bus, the lowest version, which is wrought iron plates, and this will give 1 slot in the input, and you don't need any more for the assembly line for each, because you can only put in up to a 1 stack in each of these. So I did that. I did a couple input hatches for fluids. I just did 2 of them at MV. I did an output bus. I just did the HV, the 16 slot, just in case. And then I made all the solid steel machine casings, which I should be able to autocraft, and everything will be autocrafted for me. I added a couple more machines downstairs. I'm just slowly expanding. I'm clearing out all the LV machines, and I can probably actually get rid of this electrolyzer now, I think, because I set up this electrolyzer is now connected to the AE system. I also did P2P tunnels, so all these, I have 1 over here, I have 1 over here, I have 1 here, and like 2 over here, I think. Yeah, and I'm going to need to expand this because I'm running out of channels. So I'm at 31 channels. For this line is 31 channels. And I want to add some more lines here, so I think I've decided I'm going to try something new with the titanium. Let's really quickly, the P2P. Memory card, and that. Now, not the storage bus. I'm thinking if I do an import and a fluid interface, it's like an interface, isn't it? Yeah, this fluid interface. Do I have one of those? No, I don't. I should probably put that in the patterns I can make. I'm out of processors here. Oh, nice. I did make some extra. I really need to get that set up. Oh, and I also set this to auto search keep because it was kind of annoying. Every time I exited out, I lost the it reset. Okay, so what I'm thinking I'm going to do over here is let's see. Oh, I need the fluid import bus. Fluid import bus. Yes, and the fluid interface. Okay, so I'm going to put this up here, and I'm just realizing I'm going to have to do the. I'm probably at 32 channels down here now. Yep. Okay, so what I'm going to do is switch one of these to a different line. So like, say these all lines come in, they get converted down into 1 channel, and then they come out here. But since I'm at the max, I'm going to set up, let's see, with another face, because every one of these faces on the controller can do another line. And the dense kibble right there. And now I'm going to switch this one. So shift right click and then just regular right click on this one. And now this should transfer all these to this side. Yep. So there we go. So we got 10. And then we got 22. All right. And then over here, so what I'm going to do is have it crafting using this recipe, the titanium. It's going to come out of here with the titanium and the carbon monoxide. The carbon monoxide is going to go in there, the titanium is going to go in there, and then this is going to pull it into the AE system. And then I'm going to have fluid interface on this one. Is that how I want to do that? That one's a little different. Okay, so that's a little different than I was thinking. I was thinking I could just on-demand craft. Maybe that's not what I want to do. Because it doesn't look like I can put patterns in here. Maybe if I just do a fluid export bus there. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's what I want to do. But I do want to have, before I set that up, well. Alright, so I'm only going to export titanium. So let me do one, let's get this joint. Titanium. This. Now that should put it in there. There it goes. It should get pulled into the AE system, and then hopefully, I think it'll count this bucket as, if it goes in here as one bucket, I think that'll count. But we shall see. Alright, almost done. There we go. This should fill up that. It should go in the and get pulled out. I should probably put a speed upgrade on that to pull this out faster, but I'll worry about that later. And let's see if that counted. See, it doesn't count as the bucket. Alright. So I gotta look into that and figure out how that works. But I was thinking if I do yeah. I just don't know if I can do what I want to do with the fluid crafting. Maybe it's not even possible. And that should export it into that thing. Yeah. Alright. Well, I'm going to take a look at that. Again, I just kind of came up with that idea. I thought I'd show it off and see if it would work. Maybe the fluid interface would be... The only problem is I can't get this to recognize this craft. That is my main issue with this. So, anyway, moving on. Let's move on to the assembly line again. Let's see what else I need. So, I'm going to do 8. So that is what I'm going to build. And I got everything from the lower level, all the solid steel casings. You need, since it's 8 slices, and you need 1 on each side, that'd be 16, but I replaced 2 with fluid inputs, so I got 14. I got the outputs. I got the inputs, the 7 inputs that I'm going to need. And yeah, that's everything. So let's move on to the next layer. This layer I need, so I'm going to need 8 slices, so I'm going to need 16 reinforced glass and 16 assembly line casings. Now these assembly line casings are no joke, because they need these. Can I put this in here? I can, because it knows how to craft those. I think if it knows how to craft those, even though I don't have... Yeah, if I don't... I just realized that. If you can shift-click the recipe in, if it knows how to craft these, it'll put this in this pattern, and you don't have to actually have them craft it. I'd never realized that before. What else does this need? Hammer and wrench. Hammer and wrench. Now, I'm going to need 8 of these, so this is going to be 4 craft. It comes up as 2, yeah. So I guess we'll just put that there. Assembly line. I can probably just get rid of all these patterns after I'm done. Well, no, I'll leave it, because I might expand. So if I need 8 of these... Okay, so here's an issue that we haven't gotten to yet. It needs 13,000 bytes, and I don't have enough bytes. Wow, I have almost all that. Oh, tungsten cable. Need a lot of tungsten cables. So I got to teach it how to make the cables, which will be adding the rubber to the cables. What are these? Aluminum. So I'm gonna build a new assembly machine, and I might actually build multiple ones. Do one with rubber, and I'll probably do one with polyethylene, and maybe even I might do 3. Rubber. This one usually has soldering iron in it, and one with polyethylene. And I will set those up so I can set up auto crafting for those. And what was the other thing I needed? Some rods. I need to set up a crafting and tetrahedrite. I'm not sure how I just want to do this, because right now I have the copper. Maybe I can add another multiple copper recipes. Does that work? Let's try that out really quick. If I do, because I have a lot of copper in here. So if I do 1 crushed copper to 1 ingot, would that work okay if I have multiple recipes in here for copper? I don't know if I can combine those, or because I can't put both of these. It'll think you need both ingots or both crushed. So let's try that again one more time. No, see, it's still thinking it needs the tetrahedrite to make the copper. Alright. I may need to set up like auto crafting of copper. Anyway, let me get these assemblers set up, and we'll come back and keep going. Alright, so I made the 3 assemblers, and I've already placed them. And I actually started a new... Instead of just making one huge long line, I made another line back here. So just connected it from this dense cable. So I have all these lines put up. There's 7 going this way, 4 going this way, and then 6 going this way. And I don't know if... I can't remember if I mentioned this, but the cable anchors... They're just one... I think it's like... Wow, it looks like you can do a whole... Like, it looks like it's just like an ingot. And the Certus quartz cutting knife. I usually just use copper or something. And then if you put the cable anchors down, it'll stop the A2 cables from connecting. So I have... this is how I've split up my channels. So 7, 4, and then 6 back here. And then I put... Each assembly machine has a different fluid. So soldering ally, rubber, polyethylene, and then just fluid export buses on the bottom, just exporting the fluids, and then I have the interfaces on the back, so I can just put recipes in if needed. Oh, and then I have, which one is it? I'm exporting quartzite to make the glass soldering alloy, to make the soldering alloy, and then polyethylene sheets. Just automatically, once they enter the system, they'll automatically get melted down. So I think that'll do pretty well. And then I will, when I need it, I will come up with the recipes that I need to add in there. And I think, just double check. So this says 17 channels. Is it? Yeah, 17. So we're good. All right, and then the chemical reactor. Trying to figure out what I want to do. I have a fluid import bus and a fluid export bus on it, but I don't have an interface on it, and I don't want to put one on the front, just for aesthetics. And I can't on the bottom because of the cable power in it. But I'm just putting the rubber and the sulfur in this one to get the rubber, and then melting down the other stuff. But I can actually get rid of, I think, like all of these, to be honest. I can get rid of that row. I also made a polarizer too, and set up the recipes for that. Alright, so back to this. Let's see what craziness. Oh, really quick before we do that, I also set up a level emitter. I added a new input bus over here, just a 1 ULV, so it just has the 1 slot. And I put a export for copper ingots into it. So that will make the annealed copper. It'll use the oxygen plus the 1 ingot of copper. And what I did was set up a level emitter. So I did 196 because it'll put a stack in here. And once it crosses that threshold 196, it'll turn off the redstone signal, which will turn off the export bus. So we'll stop putting in there. Basically, that's going to keep around 256 annealed copper ingots in here, because I am going through this stuff like crazy. And we shall see with this craziness. So I need 8 of these. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention. I added another co-processing unit, and I ended up putting a 64K storage on the bottom. I used that 64K circuit that I had, and what that will do is, now that I need 12,000 bytes for this recipe, it's not going to fit in the 4K or the 1K. So I had to expand that. Now it looks like we have most of this stuff, except for the tungsten. So tungsten wire. Now this is going to take a long time to make here. So I'm going to do another cut. But let's see. This needs the polyphenylene sulfide. This is not part of the AU2 system yet. I haven't put the cluster mill on there yet, so I got to make these manually for now. But I'll just get all these done and throw them in. This is 2 stacks of tungsten cables, so that's right? Tungsten. It's so dark, it's hard for me to see. Yeah, so 1 tungsten wire and the 1 foil. Okay. So 1 tungsten wire, 1 foil, equals the tungsten cable. Now it'd probably be easier if I did, like I could do like 4 wires equals 4 cables, kind of thing. It would go quicker. But I'm just going to do it this way. The only problem is with this, I can't tell right now which one's which. So it's got to be in the one with the rubber, which is that one. So 1 tungsten wire, 1 polyphenylene sulfide, and then I'll just keep it stocked with rubber. And hopefully that should... It's only crafting... It's crafting 8 of these. Let me just double check that I have the recipe right. Crafts 2 assembly line casings, yeah. So it should... 8 of these should be 4 that crafts, which would mean I would need 8 of these. Yeah, okay, so that's it. So it looks like I have every single thing. It's gonna have to craft 506 copper ingots, annealed copper. It's gonna have to smelt up 109 tungsten. Everything else it has enough tungsten. Yeah, so 96 annealed copper wires it's going to need to make these. So let's have that going. Now this is probably going to take, yeah, a couple hours, which I kind of assumed it was going to. Oh, about an hour. Maybe not? I don't know. We shall see. It should be putting everything in there as it needed. And this is turned off. So it's actually putting more in there. So I'm just going to let this kind of run. And the only problem with this system that I have set up over here is that with these super long crafting like it'll use all the annealed copper that it needs, but then it'll just keep smelting until it has 256 more. So I'm just going to take that out for now. But I don't know, maybe there's an easier way for me to figure that out. Other than putting up, like, hey, say, like, have 1,000 in stock. I don't know. Because I wanted to finish this craft. I don't want it to smelt up all this and then smelt another 256 annealed copper. But let's see. 6 minutes. Yeah, that's no right. It's going to take a very long time to get all this stuff smelted up. So let me cut and I will be back with the finished product. And after a very long time, I have the assembly line casings. So one more part. That took quite a few hours. I just left the computer running and came back and it was finally finished. The tungsten is what takes the longest. For the tungsten steel, one ingot takes 550 seconds, but that's MV, so half it and then half it again for EV. I actually also, towards the end, I decided to switch out the energy hatch for the IV one and connected it to my green IV line. So now the blast furnace runs even faster and accepts 2 times IV, so it can accept up to that amount. But when it is running, since it's taking so much EU, I do drain batteries. I don't have this going, but I figured it's time to ramp up. let's put this diesel engine to the test here. Because if it's not, the batteries aren't emptying out, it is not fully utilizing that 6,000 EU per tick. So can't run it permanently, but can run it at IV. Alright, so also during that time I created the, let's see. Alright, so we just got those assembly line casings. I got the reinforced glass, I needed 16 of those. And then the next level, we're going to need, let's see, 16 grate casings and 7 assembler machine casings. So I got 2. And once again, this is only cooking up. This isn't too bad. This is mostly just, it's mostly just circuits and stuff. Let's take a look at how much faster the annealed goes. Okay, so this is the annealed copper ingots. So we can see how much faster that's going. That's actually not too bad. So, but if we take a look at my power, it's definitely draining. It's not too bad, because I am producing 6,000 EU per tick. But definitely worth speeding this up. I also added a couple autoclaves here. This is going to be for making nether quartz and surface quartz. I haven't set up the interfaces yet. And this one with the palladium is for the raw circuits. Is it raw? Raw carbon. Yeah, the raw carbon fibers, because I needed those for the nano CPU wafers. So I finally have that set up. Got a pattern, and then I'm just auto extracting the palladium. And I ran, this is connected to the water line from underneath. Also, I got rid of a whole lot of my machines that I was not using. So a bunch of the LV machines that have been replaced. Still got a mixer, packager. Alloy smelter is going to be next, I think. Forming press is going to be another one. I don't know about canning machine. I don't really use this anymore. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I'll get a new mixer, but everything, all this is going to be replaced with EV machines, and going to be auto crafting with this. I also set up another advanced chemical reactor, an HV one, and this is for making that indium, this stuff. So it gets 4,000 sulfuric acid, and I needed it close by. I could have put it over here and used the AE, but I figured I'd just have this constantly full of sulfuric acid, and then it's being pulled out the back. Alright, so let's take a look at how this is going. Yeah, let me come back when that's finished. And we have the assembler machine casings. I made the grate casings, and to top it off, right top we need energy input hatches or solid steel casings. And I believe that says it in the quest. On the third layer you have the thing, blah blah blah. At the top you have energy hatches or solid steel casings. So that is everything. So we are good to build this insanely expensive multi-block. And I think I've decided I'm going to put it over here. I wanted to put it over here originally, but I think that's going to interfere with my AE stuff. So I think I'm going to start setting it up over here. Now we gotta make sure I get this right. Oops. Yeah. All right, so bottom, I need my input bus, or 1 of 7. All right, so there's my input buses, I think. Yeah. Right here? Should this be the front right here? And I'll go back. No problem is it's going to expand, but oh well. All right, so we need our 7 of these. And the 1 output bus, which I'm holding. So we'll have the output bus facing that way, I think. And these need to be facing, all facing downwards. So if I go under here, let's just double check I did that right. Yeah, those are all facing underneath. Except for the last one, the output. And then I put this up there. All right, and then on the sides we got our solid steel casings and the 2 fluid hatches. I think I'm just going to put those maybe right there. And then the solid machine casings. And then we have our assembly line. Oh wait, is that right? Yeah, the inputs and then that. Okay, the next layer. It does not. This one does not go on this layer. Yep. Next layer is the assembly line casings, and then the reinforced glass. There we go. Now, the next one, then this one is what has the assembly line thing in it. All right, and then down the middle, the assembler machine casings. I got 7 of those. Then I have my grate machine casings on either side of this. And then up top, I have my energy hatches or my, I forgot to make an energy hatch. Luckily, I have that on Autocraft. That tonskin's take a couple minutes. I'll be right back. And we have our energy hatch. I'm going to go with the IV energy hatch. And I don't know where I'm going to bring the power up. The power, I can see it. It's right under here, so it's going to come up probably up here. Probably this one. In there. It's not going to look the best. There it is, and then the last solid steel machine casings, and hopefully I have made everything correct here, and this will turn into the multi-block. It looks like it worked. Alright, there we go. There is the assembly line completely built. So what we're going to have to do is each of these recipes. So I think the first thing Actually, now that I'm looking at this, I'll probably craft the... Usually this is the first thing you craft. So I need the LUV machine casing and this vanadium gallium cable. I wonder if I could do that right away. Chrome plates, easy enough. Let's just take a look at this really quick. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Oh, actually, chrome's probably got to cook in the blast furnace. Yeah. So I gotta... relatively quick. And let's... one last thing, this vanadium gallium stuff. Vanadium gallium ingot is 3 vanadium and 1 gallium, and you get 4. So that's actually really easy. Requires 4,500 HV, but I'm way over that. But yeah, I think we will get into the crafting in the next episode. I gotta set up the power, and I want to get this made and the motor. And there's a couple other quests I need to do before that. But the hardest part is getting this all set up, which we have done. So next episode, we will look into getting this running. So thanks for watching, and have a good one.